but I think sort of that reinvention is what I enjoy about it. Like every 10 years, I get to change what I'm doing.
Welcome to Kodsnack. I heard your voice on podcast a long time ago.
Yeah. I used to. You said you had listened to some of the Hello World podcasts. Yeah, that was a labor of love. I really loved doing those. I think there's 97, and I see these. I think Richard and Richard Campbell and Carl. Carl,
of course.
Are on like 5,000.
Yeah, they're outrageous.
Yeah. I feel like I never did a podcast.
No, exactly. Does it count if I'm not at .NET Rocks?
Yeah.
But I think they must be the extremest case of long-running podcast ever.
Yeah.
Can't be anything else.
Probably.
Because Hello World ran for quite a while as well, didn't it?
Just for 3 years, I think.
Just.
Yeah, because because of the nature of the show, telling people their first time, how they got into computers and stuff and programming. We can't have a guest on twice, and so there was
that's true.
A little bit about that, and then some of the stories started sort of repeating other people's stories. I was like, this. I don't know how useful that is to hear yet another person that went. Well, I went to college and then I got a job afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what sort of made us decide to peter it out.
Yeah.
I think it's 97. I wanted to get to 100.
Yeah.
But it just stopped when it stopped.
Yeah. Not everything has to end on an even number.
Yeah.
Try to remind myself as well.
Yeah. I have it on my backlog to edit the last one, which I've never published. But Richard Campbell interviewed me.
Oh, that's podcast. A good one.
But every time I pull it up, I'm like, this is going to be a lot of work.
Is it a long recording?
Yeah, it is. It's like 2 hours in it. We would cut it down to like 20 to 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's work.
Yeah. If it was just publishing it, I would just do it.
Yeah, sure.
But so tell me a little bit more about this podcast.
Yeah.
What's your focus? I'd love to say I went and listened to a bunch of episodes, but I didn't.
There's a time factor. It's kind of funny. We've been doing episodes since 2012.
Wow.
And people sometimes come up to me and are like, I'm sorry, I haven't listened to all episodes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
There are other things to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one of my friends who started the podcast together, 3 of us, and he said that he wanted to feel like listening into people just chatting after work.
Sure.
It's like basically anything interesting to a developer, any direction can flow anywhere. Yeah, so that's what we do.
Yeah. So I'm fascinated by it, though I never have enough time to listen to as many as I'd like to.
No, it has to fit in somewhere in your day as well.
Yeah, and because we recently moved to the Netherlands, so I don't have a commute.
That makes a big difference.
So getting on the tram and going a couple stops to a coffee shop. Yeah. You're not going to
exactly. You can fit some really short ones in.
Yeah. One called Science Friday by PBS in the States. And so every day they release one, and it's about 12 minutes on
perfect.
Something new in science. And that's what I go to sleep to.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
that fits in everywhere.
Yeah.
And it doesn't build up a huge backlog either.
Yeah, which is good. So I'm doing a talk here, or I did a talk here on what's new in .NET.
Yeah.
And while doing the talk, putting it together, I was just came up with this notion of there's not enough to talk about here in some ways. Like it's .NET Core has achieved some level of stability, but there's still a lot of churn in Blazor and some of the newer ASP.NET things. But even like minimal APIs, the couple things they changed are like they're small.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating to me is we're finally getting to some of the things where like the small C# feature, null forgiveness, where you can not have to check for null before you assign a nullable object. It takes away more and more boilerplate code.
That's nice.
And so sometimes these small changes, you don't really see them until you look at them and like,
It makes a big difference.
It makes a huge
very small increments.
Yeah. When I also do a talk. I'm doing one at .NET Conf. I'm doing one of their community ones on null reference types. And what I love about null reference types is it's gotten rid of all this boilerplate of is this null, is this null, is this null, is this null.
Can make such a huge difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember something similar, I guess, was back on the Apple side when they were still doing Objective-C, and there was a year that they introduced some new convenient, like, array literal syntax or something like that for declaring arrays, and they almost got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
It saves so much typing that we never want to do.
Yeah, it's a very interesting place to be, because I started using C# in 1.0.
Yeah.
You know, like in the beta in 2002. So, I mean, this is a long time I've been in the C# space.
Yeah.
And in that talk about nullability, I actually walk through, because you can still tell the C# compiler to pretend it's the 1.0 compiler or the 2.0 or the 2.1 to see like how the language has changed. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, what was the first version like? It must be very bare bones compared to now, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't have generics. As an example.
Yeah.
Had the reason I show it is that nullable reference types, the nullable value types, were introduced in 2.0, and it's taken 20 years for them to do the same, have the same mechanism. And so it's, I'm just fascinated by how, like, the history of the releases and all that.
Yeah.
Not very practical, but it does mean that people that are running old systems can still compile them, right?
Yeah, which is pretty awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it feels like all tech stacks break all the time. And then there's something like this, like, I can go back to the first version. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, that was one of my complaints with Apple in my early career, was they were happy to break stuff for developers.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I ended up in the Microsoft space.
Makes sense.
Had this, they were like, it may not be the newest and prettiest, but we're not going to break in 5 years.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And there will be new stuff added.
Yeah.
And, you're moving to a new framework for this again, but it will keep working.
Yeah.
And it's a totally different, serious focus on, supporting developers in that way.
Yeah. I just think it's been it's been an interesting ride, sort of, being in the Microsoft space. I've been a MVP for 24 years, I think.
Wow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And to see like what they focused on, like in 2003 when I got my first MVP, it was in developer. And then later on, it was like these niches, like there were 40 or 50 different categories. And now we're back to you do web stuff instead of desktop stuff. Like that's the only change. And it's easy for me to feel like and tell stories like just the old man who's been here for a long time. But I think sort of that reinvention is what I enjoy about it. Like every 10 years, I get to change what I'm doing. A number of years ago, I got into training more than writing code. I always have done some level of consulting, but training became the big thing because there's a newness, like a different kind of problem to solve. We've all, averaged sales figures or figured out commissions, and and at some point you go, is this a life's work?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's that continual challenge. Like training was good for me for about 15 years, like really good for me. Being a Pluralsight author, plus a lot of the in-person training I was doing. And now I'm sort of on the other side of that. And like, what do I do in this next 15 years?
Oh, okay. So still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Or do you have a sense of where it's going? Or
I think it's mostly going to be what I call high-level consulting, which is most of what I do. Like I'll come in and help them design a system or come in and help them fix a system. But I'm not going to be 40 hours a week writing code for them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because there are people that are more talented than me at the coding, and my talent really is being able to see sort of the big picture or to help you get unstuck or to help train your people. Like that's, I think that's where I'm best used, frankly.
Yeah. And I think, that mindset of wanting to figure out the new stuff as well and being able to teach it to people must be hugely valuable for that as well. Yeah,
I'm in a very lucky position that, for the last 20 years, I've mostly been being paid to learn the new stuff, right? And I have had a lot of people ask, like, how do you keep up with it? And I said, well, one, I don't have a day job.
No.
Two,
Oh yeah.
I don't have kids. Like, I'm passionate about it, and I try to have my own off time. It's not like I work crazy hours, but I've created a life where a lot of my time I can devote to it. Not everyone can.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs to keep up with the newest stuff.
Yeah, but it's easy to forget that everyone has sort of their own balance of things they can and won't do, and what do I want to devote time to, and what do I enjoy devoting time to? What's a chore for me to devote time to?
Yeah.
I mean, someone else would just feel tired at the thought of staying up to date all the time. It's like, I learned this tool. I'm going to use this one.
and there's a huge space for people that learn and want to stay in that space. I did a user group. Oh God, this is maybe 15 years ago or 10 years ago. Whenever the Windows Phone was first coming out.
Yeah.
And I got asked to do a Fox Pro user group, not a Fox Pro for Windows user group, but a Fox Pro user group. And so what I was trying to show them was so past any of the stuff they had looked at. Like it was really, but I have to tell you, they were the happiest group, a user group I'd ever seen. They were they'd all been friends for 20 years. They were just happy to be in the room. They knew what they knew, and that, and it really made me think more about like what do we want to do? Like sometimes it gets lost in what am I going to do for my next job, or especially right now where there's so many layoffs happening and things like that, where hiring is difficult. But that you should, if you're not happy in what you're doing, figure out what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Try
to do more of that.
Yeah. It may not always make sense when you have mortgage and kids and college to pay for and all this other stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I approached a gaming company years ago that I really liked. I was like, I'm just gonna see. Yeah. And I went through a couple of interviews. I don't think I would have gotten the job anyway, but they finally told me what the starting salary was, and I was like, I can't work for that much. I realized that how badly, game developers are treated, because you get to tell people you're working on games.
Yeah, exactly.
So they get so underpaid and overworked. Yeah. It's like, wow.
That's outrageous.
Really eye-opening.
That's a weird one as well.
I'm just, happy to be around. I was talking to one of the other speakers. They had done a talk on imposter syndrome. And early in my career, like I think a lot of people, I felt like I was going to get found out and all that. But what I didn't realize, because I'd sort of overcome that in my 30s, and I was like, okay,
I do know some stuff.
Yeah, I know some stuff. And because I never got a college degree, I always felt like less than.
That's a classic as well.
That. Yeah. But once I sort of got over it, I was like, oh, this is great, And then when COVID hit, it came back, but I didn't know what it was at the time. I just know I felt like not in the cool kids, or and not being able to speak, I think, is part of that for me.
Oh, you didn't get any connection with anyone else.
I was having a hard time with connection, and I had to just do that battle all over again. Like, you mean this can happen again?
I had never expected that to be a thing that could do that, really. Yeah. But it makes a lot of sense when you say it, because you're suddenly out of the regular context again.
Yeah,
this is new. What's going on?
And having to figure all that out. And I was able to stay married during COVID, so that was an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's a victory. Absolutely. But going back to what you talked about, there isn't that much new or a technology settling down. I feel like that should happen a bit more often, perhaps. I feel like there's a lot of good to be done when something is a bit stable as well.
It is, yeah.
Because I mostly work in web front end.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's a lot of change there for the sake of change.
For the sake of change, yeah. There's a lot of that. And there's this impetus that I have to be going to the new cool thing, or I should be doing this, or that I should only know the most popular of these, you know. I get a lot of people asking me, I'm at this point in my career, what should I do? I hear that React and whatever, exactly. Is the way to go, and I'm going to do everything in Next. I was like, but you're going to have as many people competing for your job as if you're in a smaller place.
Yeah.
Like it's the pool. If you're passionate about React, do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're not, chasing the hottest thing, I don't think really helps, because I think that companies, the right companies, good companies, value vertical knowledge or domain knowledge more than they do tech.
Yeah.
We can all learn a new if-then syntax or
exactly.
a new for loop,
Yeah.
right? But if we know the insurance industry or the gaming industry or whatever it is, bringing those to those companies, I think, because you already know the nomenclature. You know how, maybe not how this company does it, but we have to put pallets on a truck and that truck has to drive somewhere and deliver them. Like if I'm in transportation, I know how all that works. And so that makes it easier for me to build systems instead of having to do both.
Yeah.
Learn the technology.
Yeah, exactly. You can have the exchange.
If you're curious enough. Like that's... not everyone wants to understand it, and I know that.
Yeah.
I always like to know that when I worked at different verticals, like, but how do you make money? Because this doesn't make.
Yeah, exactly. not to be rude, but why are you paying me for this?
Yeah.
What is it about? Yeah, I think I'm like that as well. I really want to know how things fit together in the larger picture, and why are we doing this part instead of this part? And did someone actually ask for this? Or did they say something else and it got sort of transformed in a game of whisper?
Because I think I got into computers initially because I felt it like it was a solo sort of thing. Because back in the late 80s when I started, it really was sort of magical. These awkward people, if you push pizza under the door, code will come out and all that. It was only until I got into my 20s that I really was like, this requires a lot of people skills, a lot more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
And I think that's a challenge for developers as well. Like to just know that. Doesn't mean you have to be great at every one of them, but just knowing that like it is way better to go talk to somebody that uses your product to figure out what the right thing to do than to hope that some intermediary wrote it down right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? To actually, be part of those, or to be able to speak up in design meetings and things like that. I think our industry makes it hard for the quieter voices to get heard sometimes.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. I wonder what can we do to improve that?
It's a difficult one. I did a film called Hello World where I talk about the software industry and diversity and some things like that. And that came up quite a lot. It wasn't like racism and sexism. It was people thinking that you weren't as good because of the way you looked versus like,
Yeah.
And I think that happens where people get talked over. And if you're not a extrovert, you might not talk right back over them to get your point across. You might just go, okay, and I'm not sure that's something they need to fix, but I think the best answers can come from those quiet voices. Yeah,
absolutely.
Especially with different outlooks in the world.
Some people, like me, I like to try and think before I say something. And other people figure stuff out by starting to talk.
Yeah.
And then it's very easy because they need that process and I need that process, but we need to sort of sync up somewhere as well so we can get both things.
Yeah, and talk and be able to talk without judgment. Because, part of it I think comes from you have to win the design meeting. And I'm too old to worry about winning. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm overruled and everyone else thinks we should be going another way, let's go that way.
Yeah, sure.
And if I'm right, we'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. It will solve itself.
I don't want to be right, but if I'm right, it'll certainly come up.
Yeah.
So it doesn't become this ego or this pride sort of thing that happens in teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm able to do that sometimes as well. To relax and see. Everyone else wants to go there. Yeah, let's try it.
Yeah.
Let's give it a good shot. See what happens. And sometimes it works out much better than I thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah. time for a quick but huge thank you to everyone sponsoring us on Ko-fi. You can become one of these incredible individuals by surfing to ko-fi.com/KODSNACK and signing up to give us either a one-time donation or a monthly support. If you support us monthly on the coffee drinker level for €5, you get a bunch of very nice stickers in your actual mailbox. If you support us on the barista level for €10 or more, you also get a thank you right here. Big thanks to Anders Legell, Josef Landberg, Kalle, Thomas Skäre, Joel Rangsmo, Svante Richter, Michelle, Ingo, and Tobbe Lundberg. Everyone who supports us helps make this podcast possible, and the more of you there are, the better we can make it. We do sometimes have sponsors, but it's actually your support that's enabling us to cover our monthly costs every month. And if you want to support us in other ways, you can of course give the podcast a review in your podcast player, or just tell someone who might like the podcast about an episode. But remember, you are a fantastic person, whether you support us or not.
Yeah, I've told people I've probably been wrong more than I've been right in like picking technologies. Because I have a whole list of tech that is all dead that I thought was the next coming
Cool.
when it came out.
Yeah.
And
you have any fun examples? It's always
Oslo, which this old thing that came out of Microsoft that had a very quick death, but I really was
interesting.
Tied to it. WinFS.
What's the file system?
The object-based file system.
Oh yeah, that would have been so cool if it had gone somewhere.
Yeah, but they just couldn't make it fast enough or secure it right. That's actually the only reference to me in Wikipedia is because I wrote an article on WinFS, and someone has an article on the failed WinFS.
It's so interesting to read about stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
like old file systems. I mean, I found this book. There's this book out there somewhere about the file system for Bay OS. And that book is enjoyable to read, just like a book, because it's so well written.
Yeah.
And it did tagging and stuff and sort of a few database-like things.
Oh, wow.
And it's also really interesting. It's from designed somewhere in the beginning of the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Or the end of the 90s, I guess.
Yeah. BOS is actually it's taking some basis of these things that were built in the mid-'80s. GOS, GEOS.
Oh, yeah.
And they were great ideas, but the ideas, they didn't have enough hardware for them to work well.
Yeah.
And now we should, but we're still not. And even in some respect, I got caught up in the whole Silverlight thing. But I think I knew it was going to be short-lived. I didn't realize that Apple would be the one that killed it, but I felt
that was a surprise. Yes. But Silverlight hung around for a couple of years. Right?
There's actually a .NET Core version of it that someone has open sourced and made a version that works with WebAssembly. I'm like,
wow,
go for it.
Yeah. People are doing a lot of fun stuff on top of WebAssembly, I feel like.
Yeah, there's some interesting things going on out there.
Yeah.
I was wrong about WebAssembly because I thought the only people that would really glom onto it would be tool vendors, because they're the ones that are writing tons of code that has to be really tight. I really didn't think Blazor type of thing would be as useful as it is. Frankly.
No, I even thought that WebAssembly had sort of missed its opportunity, because it felt like it was introduced and then it felt like nothing happened for a few years.
Yeah.
From my perspective, and then suddenly, now people are doing lots of cool stuff and sort of heading there. It's pretty fascinating as well.
Yeah, some tool vendors, in the node space, are using WebAssembly to build their tools, and some other people are using, actual system languages like Go or Rust.
You can do that as well.
Because at some point, JavaScript was never made to be a system language.
No, that's such a weird thing. JavaScript ended up everywhere.
Yeah. I feel like I was right about that, though. I was very suspicious and happy once it started getting standardized better. Because I just remember it was always 5 years from being useful.
Yeah, exactly. And the standards, people couldn't agree with each other, right?
Yeah, because it was the browsers that were dictating the changes instead of the users.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother...
Yeah, that actually sorted itself out eventually as well.
Yeah, it's been fascinating.
Yeah.
So what is the developer ecosystem like here in Sweden?
I mean, it's a lot of consultants, a lot of .NET, a lot of Java. I think is the most, and I mean, a lot of web frontends to that, of course.
Yeah.
But I feel like my gut feeling is that .NET is the largest single group.
Interesting.
From the impression I get. I mean,
it used to be Java in the States, and it probably still is just because of legacy code.
Yeah.
But Oracle handled it so badly that I'm sure they lost a ton of people.
Yeah, I think so. Nobody gets a good feeling from hearing Oracle. I think. But there are plenty of Java developers as well, and you know the Java user or Java forum it's called in Sweden, and the .NET user group, they're pretty large, both of them.
Yeah,
they have huge meetups. So.
Well, what's also interesting to me is how really popular things are being built on the JVM, not Java, but the JVM.
Oh yeah.
So like Kotlin.
Yeah.
I think I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, I think so.
Has a really huge user base, and it's just compiling down to bytecode.
Yeah.
Like it's still running in the same Java engine. It's just functional programming instead of So that's been very interesting. I always thought there'd be more languages written on top of the CLR, but
there aren't that many.
No, there used to be a bunch that were like
there was like a Python and a Ruby or
Python, Ruby. There was a Haskell interpreter. There was a COBOL interpreter that Fujitsu made.
Oh, sweet!
Yeah, that they were using for some of their they were doing a lot of consulting to bring people off of COBOL and make that sort of a bridge.
Makes sense.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, we had a few people working in major Swedish banks on the podcast a few times, and they're doing COBOL still. So they do their own trainings for people to bring because they need more COBOL developers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
there's a I'm sure I've said it on a ton of podcasts, so apologize to your listeners if they heard me say this before, but whenever someone asks me how do they make a lot of money in software, I say you have to go learn Fortran, COBOL, lumps, where all the developers are aging out.
Yeah.
Because when there's not many in the market, you get paid higher.
Yeah.
When there's a million React developers, it pushes down rates.
Yeah.
It's just the way the market works.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I remember I ran into a guy at a bus stop of all places when I had just been working a few years, and happened to ask what he was doing. He was like, "Yeah, I'm a Fortran programmer." So, okay, I almost don't even know what that is. What do you do? Oh, I do fluid simulations for fuel in Formula One engines.
Yeah,
pretty interesting. A little corner of.
NASA is actually hiring anyone that still knows Fortran because all of their rocket simulation code is written in Fortran from like the 60s.
Yeah.
And because they're all like intense math simulations and things, you can't just decide to rewrite it and hope it works.
No.
Yeah.
Just don't.
No.
Picking anyway. I mean, a good developer can pick up a language as well.
Yeah.
Sort about. So, do you have what's your favorite? Like, when you do coding your environment, where do you like to?
It's interesting because I'm sort of a 2 IDE person. So I use Visual Studio for most of my .NET development.
Yeah.
And I use Visual Studio Code for most of my front-end development. And that's usually the pairing that I go for. I do a lot of Vue, so not Angular or React, but I like its simplicity versus the other two I feel like are
I've heard a lot of good things about Vue.
And I'm always trying to learn like the new language. I spent a little time in Rust and Go, and none of them really tagged me because a lot of those languages aren't the kinds of things I do. I've always done front end plus back end. I've always been sort of that glue in between.
Yeah.
From writing data frameworks in my early career to APIs now. It's all the same sort of story. And so I'm a big fan in .NET to be using minimal APIs versus MVC, just because you have a lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
I've written a couple of open source libraries to make Fluent validation and minimal APIs a little easier. So I have a little app that'll register minimal APIs, so you don't have to register each of them very carefully individually. So, the things when I'm like building something don't come up as much because I'm usually going into a place that they've got their stack.
Yeah.
And I'm
these
trying
are the
to
boundaries.
adapt to what that is. And so because I work with a lot of small to medium-sized businesses, I don't do a lot of things like Kubernetes or Kubernetes, as I want to say, since they insist on calling the command line kube.
Oh, of course.
It's Kubernetes.
Yeah, sure. If it makes you happy.
Yeah. Just because small businesses don't need 100 microservices running all together. It just doesn't make much sense. So I do a lot in Azure, but sort of on the low end of Azure. So a lot of databases in Azure and using app services a lot for these companies. Sometimes I've used container services, but I stay away from anything that's pretty expensive. That's sort of my attitude.
Very nice and pragmatic.
Yeah.
What do we need to do the right amount of stuff here?
I saw one of the talks today, and they were using Cosmos DB, and I wanted to go up afterwards and like, how do you afford that?
That is a good question.
So expensive for what it does. I mean, I love the tech. I've played with it quite a lot and did some talks on it, but price is my only thing with it, though I've sort of avoided it. Yeah, so, I think I spend more time with Markdown as my programming language these days than anything, because I'm trying to help these companies either, like I said earlier, get unstuck or plan for what they're going to do, or sometimes try to help them know how to hire the right people and things like that. Because even though there's so many people that you can hire right now because of the change in the industry,
of course,
that you still need to be a little picky, right? How do you go through 1,000 resumes to find the right people? That's just tough. And I don't think AI is helping us as much as people want to throw AI
No, I don't think so either.
No.
I heard there was a podcast episode I heard about someone who had a senior developer who had just lost a job and got hired, and he talked about the recruitment processes he had gone through, and said like everything had got worse.
Yeah.
Like it got filtered out for strange reasons, and the people doing the interviews weren't actually interviewing for the skills that had been requested, and
all of that. I saw a talk about a year and a half ago on how to write a resume for the AI. And I'm like, you have lost. Like, it's now become this like this battle of the resume analysis tools and the tools that will analyze your resume so that they will get picked up as good here. Like,
it's a search engine optimization, but much worse.
Yeah.
And sort of downward pressure of some kind.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because that's not a skill that I need a developer to be great at. Writing a resume. It just doesn't. We had to hire a contractor 6 months ago, 9 months ago. And I put one post on LinkedIn. I didn't post a job. I put just a story.
Yeah.
And got 700 applicants.
700?
Yeah.
And what did you do then?
Well, the first thing I did, because I was very clear in the message, I first got rid of everybody that didn't follow the instructions. That was just a very simple, you didn't give me your resume, or you can't just give me LinkedIn and think that's your resume. Like a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or don't, if they contacted me directly and I told them not to, like private message me or email me.
Away.
Yeah. And so that got rid of about 300, believe it or not, out of the 700.
I was almost thinking it would be more.
Yeah, it could have been. I was trying not to be mean about it because, sometimes. And then I started looking at resumes, and we had sort of a range of what we could pay. And so some people were over that range or were well under that range. And so we didn't really want to deal with that. And time zone was an issue because the client's in the U.S. And I know that everyone in the Far East says, I can adjust to your time zone, but I've been through that before. And having people work from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. never really works. And so just sort of went through that process. And then I interviewed a lot of people. And we only did 2 rounds of interviews because, one, it's a consultant. It's not a contractor. It's not a permanent position. But also, I think you get a good sense of a person,
Yeah, it feels like it. You do make a natural discussion out of it.
because what I'm trying to look for when I interview people is how they think, not what they know. And there's some real tells. Like if I will ask questions that go pretty deep because there's some things I know pretty well.
Yeah.
And if they're never willing to say, I don't know that, or I would need to look that up, that's a huge tell, right? You're going to tell me that you know everything later, and then you're going to try to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be good for either of us.
No.
Yeah, we'll notice.
Yeah.
And so, to me, it's much more about the person than the skills.
Yeah.
I mean, the skills are helpful, but like I talked about before,
sure.
Understanding, the reason why you want the job, the reason why this contract might be better for you than others, and how flexible you are, like all of that comes into it for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 10 years of C# development.
No.
There are people with 3 years that are phenomenal, and there are people with 20 years that are bad.
Yeah, sure.
It's never about that.
No.
To me,
it's that classic. Do you have 10 years of experience or 1 year 10 times?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's so easy to.
Yeah. Or I'm sure there's people. I'm sure there's job listings out there asking for like Azure Foundry, 10 years of Azure Foundry.
Probably. just to see how people respond to that.
Yeah, that's how that works.
No.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like you like to do natural discussion type interviews then.
I do. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the coding for an interview. I think that's been abused a bit too much. Like I think it's taking advantage of people who need a job.
No.
And I don't think they're all that representative.
No, it's also a very strange type of.
Yeah. And live coding interviews, which I've seen some people use, I don't know how helpful that is. Because I don't mind if the person's nervous.
No.
But if that's how I see you and you're nervous in that position, that's going to affect how it is. Because you're nervous to do the interview. I get that.
Yeah, of course.
Not everyone is has the perfect interview attitude. But you can find, diamonds in the rough that are like they really understand it, or they think in a very, pragmatic way. Like that all is way more important than did they have a tie on?
Yeah, exactly. Tie is on the right way.
Yeah,
Stuff like
none of that matters to me. Though if I do an interview and they no-show me and they were like, "Can we make it up?" I'm like,
"That's not good."
No, this is just. It's indicative. I know that things happen, but when you have so many candidates to go through, sometimes you just have to be a little.
Yeah, respect
tough.
Your own time as well a little bit.
Yeah, because I only have 24 hours a day as well.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't get any more or less.
Yeah.
This has been super interesting.
Yeah, we've kind of gone all over the place.
Yeah, that's the way I like it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Anything you want to throw in at the end?
I don't think so. You can see who I am and the kind of things I do at wildermuth.com, just my last name.com.
Plenty of stuff there.
Yeah, and I've been blogging there since 97, 96, something like that. Every time there's a new technology, I rewrite my blog in it. So that's been my experiment every time.
That's a good one. What's it running on right now?
I'm using 11T, which is a generator basically, to generate the site because there's no real interaction. Where there is interaction, I have a couple small JavaScript things on the site, but it's content. It's just tons and tons of content. So
that's good.
When I did that, I was like, I can just drop these files. I don't need back-end processing.
Yeah, it's magic. It's like the internet used to work.
Yeah.
Put in a file. Imagine that.
Put in a file? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, just pre-rendered. And a lot of people I'm finding don't know that I've recently moved to Europe.
Yeah.
So if you're a European company, I'm certainly available. I live in Den Haag in the Netherlands, so I'm sort of centrally located to a lot of different places.
Yeah, very well connected.
Yeah, much better than being in Atlanta and needing to cross an ocean to meet with people. So, and I love that now that we moved over here, I can go to all these conferences that I love to do, but it was always prohibitively expensive to do some of them that didn't have budget and things like that. Sure. So I've been really loving since we got over here.
Yeah, it's been about a year.
Yeah, it was January, so it's like 11 months now, or 10 months,
approaching.
Something like that. Yeah, it's approaching a year. And our Dutch isn't very good yet.
Dutch is funny.
It's a funny language.
Yeah, it's funny for Swedish ears as well, because it's kind of close and yet quite a bit away. Sometimes when you focus, you pick up lots of stuff, and suddenly there's a different turn. Totally lost.
Yeah, I've learned the term false friend in learning this, and that is it sounds enough like the English word, but it is not.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You think that means, because especially with my logical mind, I'm trying to create these connections to it. And they're like, no, that means motorcycle. That doesn't mean fish. You know what I mean? Just like the whole Dutch word for bicycle is fiets. And I kept on hearing people talking about feet. I'm like, why are people talking about their feet
it's
all
really
the
weird.
time? Yeah. So it's one of those. That,
I don't know much Dutch, but one funny thing for me is that the Dutch word for customer means fool in Swedish. so
it's the same.
Yeah, exactly. So we walked into a Dutch supermarket and said, "Dear fool," on a big sign. They're asking their valued customers to do something.
That's great.
Yeah, so stuff like that everywhere.
Absolutely. Good. Yeah, I love that they call peanut butter peanut cheese.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does. You know, it's much more like cheese than butter in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, but in Afrikaans, don't have to use this, but in Afrikaans, they have the favorite word for peanut butter, which is gombunki butter, which just means green bean butter. But it's just so bouncy, gombunki butter.
Yeah, that's a nice flow to it.
Well, that's the only Afrikaans word I know.
Yeah. But it's a nice one.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, thank you so much, Shawn. It was
awesome.
It was great.
Yeah.
Big thanks for listening to Kodsnack. If you want to support us, leave a review in your podcast player of choice, or just tell someone who might like the podcast about an episode. And don't forget, you can come hang out in our Slack channel. A link is in the sidebar right on our website at kodsnack.se. Once again, big thanks for listening. Talk to you later.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.